Leon Hamilton here. I felt we had the desire to express what's demanded for a good video. Something GoAnimate often needed. It's good to have longer videos, but what extends length? Question is, can we make sure there's absolutely no filler? Sadly, grounded videos often do, but they don't have to. Endless numbers of years of how long the protagonist's grounded. Come on. Zero contribution to the plot. Small conversations can do as we attempted in our previous video. But often they don't, they just make the video longer than it needs to be. We indeed were schooled there how Mr. Daniels is received in his father role, and I do think the dialogues contributed the son's feelings. Now, there was a scene seemingly of distraction while his wife is at work, where she sees something in the computer she shouldn't. It didn't get solved in the video. It at least did express her feelings on her poor excuse of a husband being even worse than a children's music singer who at the very least has something to say. However, can it be described as narrative? How should it continue? If it's not gonna be narrative and the Wiggles won't reappear, then it'll appear to be another filler. In the uploader's version, the Wiggles were portrayed as trying to be teachers and failing at it. It certainly is good if entertainment teaches something. And that's what it's supposed to be. Entertainment is to help our lives. Of course, trigger our emotions, but also show us how to respond in our lives. We have a right to ask ourselves, when the held back video was made, was there nothing that extended it? We attempted not to rush the classes, but was the tempo right? Behavior card days are another example. They are actually a chance to reveal someone's story and why they got a particular card. Most of the times, however, it's just rushed. They get the card and move on, crushing the suspense that at first was good, but then turned out to be pointless. And that leads us to our next point. In the Behavior Card Day video, a non-destructive extension like mentioning the reason for the card will force us to create scenes like this one, or like this, because you want to see the characters now getting punished or rewarded depending on your deeds, but it mustn't be generic. And it must give the viewer a moral lesson. With that said, indeed the degree on how much the story progresses may vary. The guitar solo at the end of Hotel California is part of the story too, and its natural uncertainty. But to pause as the plot is what must be avoided. If there's a scene that goes off the plot, it must result in another subplot. Here we see a scene of Ricardo being blamed by Marvin and the teacher not realizing anything. This is indeed a scene of suspense as it tricks us into thinking Ricardo was guilty. However, the danger here is that goes too much into the classic bully narrative. That's what the Zach, Eric and Brian Gets Grounded series had in common. All focused on bullying. A different approach was taken by DeCool Future 99 in his Matt Kusopper series. While Matt Kusopper is rude, he still is Jake's victim, even though Matt Kusopper isn't limited to being a victim. Often you didn't know what was gonna come up next, and that's what inspired so many people, including myself, to pick up the Matt Kusopper series. My attempt honestly wasn't the best. But while there is a time to laugh, we must not forget the meaning of life. Speaking out of the fictional Leon's perspective, here are my son Patrick and granddaughter Kendra. There's no explanation for now what might there behind it, but all I can say is that while cartoon characters aren't outwardly like real people, they can fight similar battles. As I explained previously, media is to be about rethinking things. The Cars movie did that great in many extents, as it spent many times showing Lightning McQueen's transformation. Not saying that movie was without fillers. After all, movies and music are made for you to consume in the background while you might be doing some work or perhaps worked out. There, however, is the harsh reality that your life is limited. Whatever you are watching should also be having a positive impact on how to do things or how not to do them. Fact is that y'all ain't getting anywhere in a perfect place. Life is about growing and progressing. Like learning an instrument or watering plants. You always must discover things. That gives me a positive expression over the content of GoAnimate. I do love how he incorporates various subplots into each videos that lead to the same goal. He knows how to avoid filler scenes. I also decided if I make the band practice video, the music will contribute to the plot and not be a distraction. Music can show a language of itself. The blues, even if instrumental, does write down one's struggles in a non-sentimental way, showing struggle as the foundation. GoAnimate movies are view, and I'll say that the Zack movie had a great part of it showing a real story regarding Zack's origin. I however must modestly say that all this went well only for the first third of the movie, before it became consumed by action movie scenes that didn't do anything to the plot. I ask you not to understand this to be an attack against the movie. The sound effects were stunningly awesome, but it absolutely was more of a battle movie than a story movie. So what are your motive? You could, let's say, make a cooking scene, but it should give actual tutorials how to cook, and if within a movie, give material for the story's progress. While great effects that push comedy world to its limits are something to be cherished, users like Nakamuril27 would neglect plot and characterization over it. A wasted chance. I prefer to be centered on simplicity, but with a great focus on plot and emotion instead of adding effects no one needs. This explains my liking for GoAnimate's work. I really hope this will encourage y'all to make stories that have something to tell and are neither rushed nor have their plot paused over things that don't develop anything. Bye.